Welcome to episode 53 of the Emotion Code Divas shows. I am Dana J. Smithers. I am one of the Emotion Code Divas along with my partner Helena. This whole month of January, we decided that we would do some monthly topics, and we're going to be talking about goal setting or blocks that entrepreneurs typically have, because a lot of viewers that we have are entrepreneurs, not exclusively, but we do have people that would like to be entrepreneurs and they're not quite sure how to do that. So while I am an emotion code diva and practitioner, Helene and I are both trained by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and this is book. You can get it. Understand that he's coming out with a new edition with a foreword by Tony Robbins. So that is very interesting. I'll look forward to that. But if you're interested in the emotion code, you can buy this book. You can look at the case studies. You can kind of figure out, follow along what it is that we're doing on each show. So I am also a law of attraction business coach. So I've worked over the years with women that are wanting to start and grow their business, or women that have just been stuck in their business. So while I do the business component of it, marketing, looking at an action plan, the emotion code is absolutely vital to get rid of those blocks. I mean, Helena's done emotion code on me where I've had blocks, and I've done emotion code on her. So Helena's going to introduce herself. Our show is all about educating, inspiring, and healing and releasing trapped emotion for a viewer. So we have a viewer lined up today, and Helena will be working on her. And I'm going to be talking about the law of attraction, and in particular, the 3-step deliberate attraction process. So stay tuned. Helena, please introduce yourself and good morning.
Good morning, Dana. Yes, I am Helena Jenikin, and I am a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I help men and women with all sorts of things, Dana, and I help them release excess weight. I help them overcome fears and phobias, as well as stop smoking. I am the stop smoking lady. I help people stop smoking in one hypnosis session. And Dana, I use the emotion code process with all of my clients. It's very effective and very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Helena and I, like a lot of practitioners, we have a few other things in our toolkit. We kind of bring out what we think is needed with that particular person. But let's just dive in right away, Helena, and what we're going to talk about and introduce, because we do have some new viewers, which we're always excited about. So thank you if this is your first time watching us. So if you were to do your own emotion code session, or Helena and I were to do one for you, there is a protocol that we go through, and Dr. Bradley Nelson has created. Every practitioner would go through the same thing doing an emotion code session. So the first thing that we have to do is ask for permission. So Helena, can you just explain what that is? Can't we just work with anybody that we know needs it?
Oh, I would love to do that, Dana. Absolutely, I would. But no, we need people's permission. And so once we have their permission, we can begin working with them. Now, sometimes we actually can work on people's children's, but we need the adults' permission, the guardian's permission to work on their children. And also we can work on animals too. Again, I like to get permission from the owner to work on that animal. And if there's no owner, I can, like, let's say it's a bird or something like that that's been hurt or something, I can actually do an emotion code session on that bird just to relieve and calm them. Isn't that weird? But it does work.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I'm certified in animal Reiki, which is a love of mine, that with animal Reiki, we can certainly ask permission from the guardian, but
Yes.
we actually have to ask permission from the animal as well. And so that becomes an intuitive thing. And if you're doing that in person, I was sitting with a cat and asked if the cat would like me to release some emotion code, do the Reiki healing with them releasing the life force energy. And the cat looked at me and got up and left the room. So that was a no, even though the owner had asked me. So I went, no, she's not having any of it. So with Reiki, we do let the animal lead, and they can let us know. And certainly with the bird too, Helene, if you're doing that, if they stay there and they're calm, then you know that they're open to receiving it. But if they're in a cage and flitting around, then we're not going to do it. Emotion code or any type of healing.
Yep.
All right. So we've got permission. What's next?
Proxy. So we need people's, by when we get their permission, we get their proxy to ask their subconscious mind directly questions, yes or no questions.
Exactly.
And that's just like if you can't make it to a meeting, you give your vote to another person and they can vote on your behalf. So we're asking your subconscious mind on your behalf.
Exactly. And so with today's viewer, one of the things that we have asked about is the severity on a scale of 1 to 10. How much is this? Maybe we'll tell a little bit about that client. Helena, do you want to just go ahead with that?
Okay, so Mary, she's 54 years old, and her issue is that she's feeling stuck in her business. And when we asked about the severity of that stuckness, her conscious mind said it was a 9. And so as we go through the process and I'm doing the work, I will ask her subconscious mind to confirm the level of severity.
Right. So how you're going to do that is by using muscle testing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's telling us consciously, but we're just going to tap in as the proxy and see what the real answer is to that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So the way I muscle test is I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I link these two fingers together into a circle like that, and I think the word yes, they get linked together. And when I think of the word no, they just go apart. Yes? No. How about you, Dana?
Mine's a little bit similar. I do use my fingers, and I do my thumb and index together, my index and middle finger from the other hand, and my subconscious and I have an agreement. This is a yes, and that's a no. Yes and no. And we only ask yes or no questions, and what we're asking about is what trapped emotions are there. So this is about emotion code chart that Dr. Bradley Nelson has put together. And Helena, just want to explain how we actually use it?
Certainly. So Dr. Brad put this chart together. It has 60 negative emotions on there, divided into 2 columns, A and B, and into 6 rows, 1 through 6. And so when we're doing the work, we ask, is there a trapped emotion in column A or B? Is it in an odd row or an even row? And then we get down to an answer of one cell, and that cell has 5 different emotions in it. And then we can ask individually about those emotions through muscle testing.
Exactly. And so once we get an emotion, we're going to release it. And we release that by using a magnet.
Actually, today I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just sit in my hand so nicely. So we use these magnets because magnets are pure energy. They do several things. One is they intensify our positive intention to release the negative trapped emotions. And B, they cancel and delete the emotion. So when I'm doing the muscle testing, when the practitioner is doing the muscle testing and it's been identified, it pops out of the physical system into the energetic system. And then we're using what the ancient Chinese, 2,000 years ago, they developed where all the meridians are in the body, all the energetic meridians. And so you'll see me wiping over my head like this. And actually what I'm doing is I'm wiping over my governing meridian. Starts underneath the nose. It goes all the way down to the tip of the top of my tailbone. So by doing that,
so what we're doing is, that emotion that comes up, we're literally demagnetizing it. And because we're the proxy, it's working through us at that time. And one of the most important things that we need to do, you see, Helene and I are doing a lot of this.
Hydration. Hydrated practitioner.
Water.
And water, lots and lots of water. I brought to show the viewers my water jug for the day. Isn't that amazing? I have been drinking 5 liters of water because I'm seeing so many emotion code clients. I see, I'm doing, it's been fantastic actually. I've been seeing lots of clients all over the world. They're wanting emotion code sessions. So I need to be hydrated.
Exactly. And I replenish this throughout the day as well, but it's important also for the person we're working with to be hydrated. And sometimes if we're not getting a clear yes or no on something, it's often because the person is not hydrated or maybe we're not hydrated enough. So you can always just pause your session. You know, if you're trying to do it yourself, you're looking at the book, just take a break, have some more water, and then go ahead and continue with that session. So Helena, you're going to go ahead and work on Mary today. So she's in the real estate business. She's been with the same company for about 9 to 10 years. And what are some of her emotions that she's told us about, Helena?
Well, she told us that she's just lost her vision and her confidence, although that she still believes in honesty, and the fact that she feels stuck. So I'm going to be going and looking to see what negative trapped emotions I can release today that would allow her to regain her confidence, regain that vision that she had, and to help her move forward in her business.
That's perfect, because what I'm going to talk about in our educational piece is about that vision and how we manifest by having visions, and how that works using the law of attraction. So if you don't know, I have written a law of attraction gratitude journal. It's a 52-week journal, and in each week, oops, I'll show you what I've written. In each week, there is a law of attraction tip. So I talk about visions and vision boards and manifesting, and then there's a brief explanation about it. And then there's several pages where you actually do the writing. So it's a self-discovery journal. You're doing the writing, but you've got little prompts. So if you're someone that needs a little bit of, I'm not sure what to say next, then this would be great for you to get. It's on Amazon, so you can get it from there. But what I'm going to talk about is how you actually set a vision. So you can do vision boards. I've got a workshop coming up actually on February 2nd in the Lower Mainland, where we're going to actually create a vision board. And this is what I will be talking about to lead the session. So this is called the 3-step deliberate attraction process. And it's very important to go through each step in the process. Don't jump from 1 to 3 or 2 to 3 or 2 to 1. Start at 1. And number 1 says, identify my desire. So for our viewer today, or anybody watching this show, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Do you want a certain number of clients? Do you want people that are that respect you, that are honest with you, and you're honest with them? So the way that you do that, you're identifying your desire, and the tool that you're going to use is what is called a clarity through contrast worksheet. So you can just get a piece of paper, and at the top of that paper on the left-hand side, you're going to write the word contrast, draw a line down the center of your page. And on the other side, you're going to write the word clarity. Because every decision that we make, we actually start by looking at what we don't want. When you go into a new restaurant, you're going to be looking at and figuring out, don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Maybe you go into a new store, you might start looking at some clothes. Oh, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. So we always start with what we don't want to find out what we do want. So you're going to go ahead and write a whole list as an entrepreneur of what you don't want. So some of those things that you don't want might be, I don't want someone that can't afford my services. I don't want someone that is not respecting my expertise. I don't want someone that doesn't really want to work with me. So you're going to go ahead and write all those things down. Now, I am mindful that I'm using one of those 3 words that I suggest you don't use, don't, not, and no. But in this case, we're being very deliberate. We're being very short. on saying what we don't want. So you make your list, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take that first one on this list and you're going to turn it into what you do want. So let's say you want always to have a client that can afford your services. So cross off what you don't want. Maybe the next one is someone that doesn't respect your services. What you do want, someone that respects my expertise. So you go down this list of what you do want. You then fold it over. So all you're looking at then is your list of what you do want. And you want to keep that sheet of your do wants present. Put it in front of you where you can see it. You don't want to shove this away. So whatever it is you do want in your business, you're going to end up with that list. So that's the first step, identifying what you want. The next thing you're going to do is called raising your vibration, raising my vibration. You could also say giving what I want attention. So one of the ways that we do that, a tool that we use is called using desire statements. So for example, for Mary, who wants more clients, she would say something like, I love knowing that the buyers that I'm working with love working with me. I love the feeling of being excited about my business. I think it's fabulous when I know what my vision is for my life and my business and for my clients. So you're going to start saying things that are very positive, right? Because remember, with law of attraction, it's always about creating a positive vibration. So I like the idea of having, of being able to have the freedom that I want in my business as an entrepreneur. That's one of the main reasons why a lot of people become entrepreneurs, is because of the freedom. So you're going to say things that raise your vibration, make you feel really good, regardless of what it is you want. Maybe you're somebody that wants to do, tours in southern France. Actually, I have a sister who does that. Her name is Lori Smithers Ruiz, and you could always check her out. She is working on her vision of providing trips to women through small groups, 4 to 6 women tours to southern France. She knows the area. She's lived there. So that is her vision, right? So she wants to have several of these trips a year. So what she would do, she's identified it. She knows what she doesn't want. She's giving it attention. She's saying, oh, I love the thought of taking women to this winery that I know. I really enjoy exploring and having an adventure with women. I love how it feels. So you go on and on about that, raising the vibration. And then one of the most important things, the third step is allowing it. So when you allow something, what you're going to be doing is removing the doubt that what you want to have is possible, right? And so the way that you remove the doubt, now here we're working on mindset and beliefs, and next week's show is all about that, so please join us for that. But when you're allowing and removing doubt, you need to look for evidence. So has somebody else done what you want to do? Has somebody else achieved what you want? Is there somebody else doing what you want? Maybe not exactly the same way, but you admire them. And so you'd like to model what they're doing. Is anything like that going on for you? So when you get into the allowing, you're then going to start to have expectations that you believe what you want is possible. So you're always going to be looking for that evidence. So those are the 3 steps to deliberate attracting. As I said, you can find out a bit more, work with the law of attraction with my journal, or just, do some Google searches, check out other people that do it. But having been a law of attraction practitioner I've used the law of attraction for a very long time. I didn't begin training people and coaching in it, I guess maybe about 8 years ago, but I love it. However, with all of this, even when we're doing all of this, you know it, you got it in your mind, it's written down, the emotion code is going to help release any of those blocked emotions that you may not realize that you have. That's the whole point of them, right? They can start in conception, they can, You can inherit them. They can be with you your whole life. And until you release them, you're going to trigger these things over and over. I can't have this. I can't do that. And all of that negative stuff happens. And that's why we get stuck as entrepreneurs. So Helena, it looks like you're finished. So I'm very curious to see what you found out and what trapped emotions you released for our
Yes.
viewers.
It was very interesting. It was actually things just kind of there was just a little bit of stuff there. So what I did is because she was feeling stuck, but she also said that she lost her vision and her confidence. So first of all, she believed that she was at a level 9 stuckness or blockness. Actually, the subconscious mind said it was a 10.
Okay.
And we actually have gotten it down to a 0. So I'm expecting her to be actually very creative and moving forward. So the first thing I did is I asked, are there any negative trapped emotions blocking me from my vision, regaining my vision, regaining a vision of what I want? And it said, yep, shock.
Oh, okay.
It was shock. And then, this was great. It was like 2 emotions. So there was no more trapped. It was just shock. And then it was hidden longing. A longing for something else. Now, I know that she had said something to you about she still believes in honesty.
Right.
And so maybe somewhere along the way, something shocking happened that broke her trust, that broke her belief that there is honesty in her industry or in her work. And she was longing for that. The truth is, it does exist. And it exists because she exists and she is honest. So therefore it does exist. So that was then all of a sudden, yep, got my vision again. That was everything blocked the vision, those 2 things. Then I asked about regaining my confidence. And so then the very first thing came up was low self-esteem, and then a sense of abandonment and hidden discouragement.
Okay.
So once we released that, it was like, yep, that's it. Those were just the things that were blocking the confidence. I actually asked if there were any psychic traumas. And actually, when the vision was, there was actually a psychic trauma. So that's 2 emotions trapped at the same time. Vulnerability and worthlessness were trapped as well. And then there was 1 inherited emotion. And that inherited emotion was around confidence. And it was hopelessness inherited from her father.
Okay.
So that sense of hopelessness was kind of just resonating throughout her being.
So Helena, she's a new viewer, and we've got some other new viewers. Could you explain what that means when you say, well, it was inherited from her father? What does that mean?
Yeah, so our emotions, we can actually create those emotions and get them trapped in our own system, in our own physical system from our own personal experiences.
Right.
Or there can be inherited emotions. So that's passed down at the time of conception from your parents. And in this case, it was an emotion that her father had that got passed down through the genes into the system at the time of conception. Now, what's interesting is that somewhere along his life, he had a sense of hopelessness, got passed down. Now, I'm not sure if she has children or not, but if she did, it is possible that she has passed on that sense of hopelessness to her children as well. But with this work, what we're finding is that not only are we releasing that sense of that emotion from the person that we're working on, we're releasing it from the children that's been passed down to, and also our ancestors.
Right.
It's truly amazing.
It really is. So it could be, in this case, it was inherited directly from her father, but it could be her father's father, father's father's father, and on and on and on it goes. And so wherever they are in the universe, whether they're still present in physical form or not, we can actually, Helena is actually releasing that trapped emotion as she's doing the work, as any of us are doing the work. Wow, that's just great. And were there any more?
No, that was
that's a lot.
It is and it's not, because I actually worked on I worked on the lost vision and confidence. And so she's gotten those things back. And then I asked about the stuck, because it was the stuck that was at the 9 to 10 level. Now that those things are gone, she will regain her clarity and her desire to create that vision of what she wants, and she'll have the confidence to do it.
Good, and she could even use that for it. So that's fantastic. Helena, thanks for doing that. So this is what we do on each show. We do have a viewer for next week, so but we're always looking for viewers. We're always post that to be able to work on somebody. And we do like to know, you can private message us or email us if you want to remain anonymous, which is fine. Just let us know what happened. Are things moving forward? And Helena, maybe talk a little bit about the processing. Now that the emotion code is done, what could go on for somebody then?
Yeah, so what could go on is a couple of things. One is, best case scenario is that you're feeling lighter and freer and happier and ready to move on, and you just maybe you're completing those tasks and it's easy and it's effortless. Or you might just need a little time for yourself just to process these emotions out. Sometimes there's a little sadness or anger, frustration, but it's a short amount of time. Dana, it's minutes, if not maybe like 10 minutes or a half an hour or something. And in that time, what I like to actually ask all my clients to find a place in nature, to get out into nature.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. The nature really, because the earth can ground you. It's freeing. Get into a place where there's not a lot of people. Connect with the ocean, the trees, the sky, and even the animals and so forth. It brings us down, and it does seem to help process things out faster.
Yeah. So that's just great. And, so just be prepared for sort of anything, because everybody processes differently. So we hope that was helpful. But Helena, we've been neglectful of our viewers. I see we've got, I'm just going to say hello to Natasha Paula Samuel. She's a regular. This girl is very committed. She's always watching the show. She says hello, looking to another great show. She also likes to give us a weather report, which is nice. So she's in Rumford, Essex. Damp Essex, heavy shower, and now it's dark, so it's nighttime there as well. So Kelly Carson is saying hello, watching from Starbucks, which is just great. And do you see anybody else that you wanted to say hi to, Helena?
I do see several people that are watching us, but they haven't commented, so I'll let them comment and we can then recognize them.
Great. All right, lovely. All right. So next week's show is, again, we're focusing on helping entrepreneurs achieve their goals, get unstuck. So we are talking about mindset beliefs. So next week, Helena is going to be talking about doing the education piece about what goes in that subconscious. And because Helena is also a clinical hypnotherapist, she's dealing with a lot of what's in here. Not only just the conscious mind, but she's going to go into that subconscious mind.
Yep. My iceberg. I love my iceberg. Conscious mind and that subconscious mind.
So really, we're thinking and using about 10% of what's in here, and this is what we think is going on, but it's everything that's been stuffed down. And I think that iceberg is such a good representation of that, because, we go along in life and, if you looked at everybody's Facebook's posts, you think we lived in the happiest, most joyful, fun-filled world, human scene, but right? So that's the conscious part that we're seeing. What we don't see on Facebook is what's going on behind the scenes and what's really going on in that person's life. So, the emotion code helps release that. Hypnosis helps release that. The different modalities as well, whether it's Reiki, or I think Helena and I both use a little bit of EFT, which is the tapping. So it's kind of whatever modality is going to be right for that person. So thanks, everybody.
I'd like to suggest that even like law of attraction is another modality. It's a tool, and it is a very powerful tool, because that subconscious mind is being programmed with the words and the feelings and the thoughts that
Yeah,
people
and so
have.
that's what we'll definitely be talking about next week. So yeah, there's a whole lot of law of attraction this month, but you know, the law of attraction is the foundation of everything because it's what you're thinking up here that manifests. So this is where we need to be a bit more mindful of what we're saying to ourselves, and particularly in business, right? You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you got a little bit of this, you know, there's a few bumps in the roads, it happens, but you know, sometimes everything's just going great, 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 great. Might have a little dip, and then you go down, then you go back up. It's just part of being an entrepreneur. So embrace it. Change is always going to happen, and we really want to be embracing change as we are starting a new year, a brand new year ahead of us. So energetically, so much can happen. So Helena, how can people get a hold of you?
People can get a hold of me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com. I also have a Facebook page, Flourish Hypnosis, YouTube channel, Flourish Hypnosis, and Helena Jenikin.
Right. Helena, I just noticed that Kelly Carson has asked, is your hypnosis sessions only in person and for someone to quit smoking? Now, she might be talking about you're in Victoria, but you're also in Vancouver. So is there anything that you can do that's not in person?
Yes, it's actually, I've developed, I'm almost ready to publish it for Motion Code practitioners, a stop smoking program for motion code practitioners that they can use with their virtual clients. So yes, I do. I can help people stop smoking over the internet, over by video, not just in person.
That's just great. All right. Thanks, Helena. And if you want to connect with me energetically, Helena and I are both different. You might find one of us is a good match, or maybe you're going to look for somebody else to work with. But now you know a little bit more about this modality. So you can find me, Dana J. Smithers, at empoweredwomeninbusiness.com. That's my website as well as my YouTube channel. I've got a lot of different playlists there on law of attraction, emotion code divas, sacred gifts, and also different people that I interview that have a lot to do with, you know, making the world a better place to live in. So introducing different modalities. So that's bye from the Emotion Code Divas for today. Please join us next week. Please share and please put your comments in. We'd love to hear them.